Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Associates. And joining me all the way from the UK this evening is Marie. Good evening to you, Marie.
Good evening. I hope you're all very well over there.
And welcome to everyone that has joined us. It's nice to have you with us. What we're going to do this evening is I'm just going to briefly introduce you to Stafford and our role in the Middle East. I'm then going to hand you over to Marie, who's going to discuss the program. And right at the end of the presentation, you'll be able to type in any questions that you have for Marie. What I will be doing as well as Marie's, we'll actually go through the questions, and a lot of you might have very similar questions, so we'll try and group them all together and give you the answers that you are seeking. Okay, so let us get started. Who is Stafford Associates? Well, Stafford Associates has been in the Middle East for over 22 years, and we are basically the resource center for distance learning education in the Middle East. And we're currently the resource center for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. And we do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, MECs, and the MEd, and as the doctorates as well. So we really have qualifications for all your needs. And our role here in the Middle East is to obviously assist you throughout your application process and to make sure that you do get that all-important unconditional offer. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over now to Marie. She will discuss the program, as I said, and I will return and see you towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Marie.
That's great. Thank you very much, Helen, for the introduction there. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Marie. I'm a lecturer here at the University of Dundee, and I'm also the Programme Convenor for the MEd, along with the group lead for any students undertaking their studies via Stafford Associates. So you'll see me if you decide to apply, which we very much hope you do, right the way through your journey. I'll be popping up and perhaps sometimes even teaching you, depending on the modules that you opt for. So welcome. And like Helen said, I'm going to give you a little bit about information about the University of Dundee along with the programme itself. So who are we at the University of Dundee? Well, we like to think that we're a university, and we know that this is so from the feedback that we receive, that we do make a difference in the real world. We do this by ensuring that we work across discipline boundaries and adopting that interdisciplinary and team-based approach to both teaching and our research here. Within the school, we are the School of Education and Social Work, so it works well where we can cross the two subjects. And we can draw from the social workers, and the social workers draw from education. So it does work incredibly well, and it gives us different perspectives. We do adopt an enterprising approach, and this is embedded within the curriculum, and it does make our graduates very attractive to employers. We act locally and globally. We have students from around the world. So we are used to delivering subjects and modules and now teaching from all different time zones around the world. And we are a modern university working on solutions to 21st century problems. This tends to be innovative solutions and considers the complexity of the world that we live in today. So our purpose then, we focus our efforts on 3 key themes: improving social, cultural and physical well-being, promoting the sustainable use of global resources, and shaping the future through innovative design, teaching and research. As you can see from the screen there, that we are frequently placed highly in the university rankings, and we are very proud of these rankings and the excellent feedback that we receive, not just from our partners here in the UK, our discipline partners, but also from our students, both within the UK and further afield. Okay, so take you now to the MEd programme itself and provide you with a brief overview of the programme. Although it's brief, there's a lot of information packed in there, so we'll be looking forward to those questions at the end. The MEd programme does offer part-time and fast-track study, and this enables some flexibility and autonomy within your own progress through the programme. It is a blended learning programme, but we do treat all students equally. So if you're a distance learning student, you get the same support and attention as somebody based here on campus. You still have access to all of the different support mechanisms that we have available. It's an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification within education, and it does have a focus from early years all the way through to higher education. So we have students from all sorts of sectors of education. The IB recognise the programme and the different awards within that, and I'll come back to those shortly. And we do also offer a variety of routes and foci throughout the programme, and again I'll go through those shortly with you. Okay, so why consider the MEd, the Master's programme? What we have on the screen there is a quotation from a report, the Donaldson report, which was published in Scotland in 2011 on behalf of the Scottish Government. And what Professor Donaldson recognises here is the importance of master's level learning and advancing the qualifications. And it's all about the level 11 skills and attributes, such as critically exploring your practice, questioning and reflecting on that practice, as well as questioning the status quo. This not only benefits yourself as a professional, but it also benefits those around you, so your colleagues, parents, and the students who you are teaching. So as tutors, we are continuously seeing a student's practice being influenced by their learning at master's level, and this starts from a really early time within their studies. So the MEd, it's a programme of study that brings together theory and practice, and we very much focus on practice as well as the theory. And it encourages you to draw from your experiences and then look at how that does relate to the theory. And then it enables you to reflect, bringing in reflective practice as to how you can develop your practice. It enables you to question why we do certain things in the way that we do them, and whether that there are any alternative and perhaps stronger ways of practicing within the school environment. So the MEd, then the aims of the programme are, as you may have picked up from what I've just said there, to support you as a reflective practitioner, an inquirer, and an educational researcher. It's trying to bring all of those things together, and it will have an impact on your professional practice, not just from the teaching and learning, but also from a leadership focus as well. Even if you're not doing the leadership module, having that extra knowledge, that extra confidence, that extra understanding all helps you to develop as a leader, whether that be formal or informal. So you'll do this, as I've mentioned, through reflection, but also to critically discuss and build on your knowledge, so bringing in the different pieces of literature to help you develop that knowledge and ask and answer those questions as well. We have a variety of named awards on the programme, Our generic award is the Master of Education in Leading, Learning and Teaching that you can see at the top there. And then we have a range of awards below, which we have quite an extensive list there, which offers you, again, that flexibility. The optional modules that you see on the screen, they often linked to the named awards. So if you're doing an MEd in international education, then it would be expected that you would carry out the international education module as well. If you are planning on studying for an MEd in strategic educational leadership, then there would be an expectation that you would develop or you would study the leadership change and organisational development module. So there are flexibilities there, but it does depend on the named award that you are choosing, and also possibly what credit exemption will be on offer. A typical route through the MEd, so somebody who is coming into the MEd programme without any credit exemptions would be expected to study 180 credits for that master's degree. That starts off with the certificate level of 60 credits, where you'll start with a core module followed by an optional module. You can exit at this point if you're just looking for the postgrad certificate, but we would hope that you would continue to study for the postgrad diploma, where you would exit with 120 credits. For that, you would continue from the certificate by taking the second optional module plus the research, the core research methods module. And then finally onto the MEd, the full MEd, you would undertake the dissertation, and that's a double credit module at 60 credits. The other modules are all 30 credit modules. As I mentioned, we do have that partnership with the International Baccalaureate, the IB, and we do offer 3 awards, the certificates in leadership practice, the advanced certificate in leadership research, and the advanced certificates in learning and teaching research. Now, they do have different requirements for each of those, which you can see from the certificate. There is no prerequisite for IB experience required, or if you want to take pathway 1 of the leadership, the advanced certificate in leadership research. However, the rest of the pathways are expecting 3 years minimum of teaching experience in an IB school. Okay, so again, just a couple of routes through that. If you were to take in the first-hand column the teaching and learning research, that takes the typical route through as I've previously explained. But the leadership practice, if you don't have any experience with teaching in an IB school, or you don't have that 3 years requirement, then you would need to take the leadership change and organisational development module, plus the reflecting on leadership in the IB module. That's to get the advanced certificate. For the practice, you have to take those 2 modules. It's an IB requirement. Okay, so on the MEd, what do we expect of you? And I'll come to what you can expect from us shortly. First of all, we want you to be reflecting critically on your practice, and we want you to question your own perceptions and the assumptions that you have, and how these link to the different contexts and the underpinning philosophies and theories of policies, and then being able to discuss all these thoughts with up-to-date publication and debate around ideas, policies, strategies and actions. Therefore, as I mentioned, you do need that up-to-date knowledge. You will be looking at contemporary literature, and it is about you looking at or undertaking a professionally significant inquiry if you're in a workplace environment. But if you're not currently in a workplace, then we do have alternative ways of study to encompass that section. And then, of course, there is the presentation of the writing. So the structure and the different conventions of academic writing, we expect a good understanding of those, although we do help you to develop these as you work through the master's programme. So you can expect from us in return tutorials, regular tutorials. Now these can be through email or Skype tutorials if Skype is available to you, but if not, we can set up virtual classrooms, which many of our students utilise who are from the Middle East. Then come into the virtual classroom and we can have those one-to-one tutorials there. We'll also offer local face-to-face workshops for core modules, and I'll come on to those shortly. And the online learning and teaching, that is in the format of written online materials, but also many of the modules provide opportunities for online tutorials. So you'll come into the session very similar to what you're doing now, and we'll have perhaps an hour workshop online. Feedback from those has been excellent from students. And we also provide you with an opportunity for formative assessment. It's a piece of writing which then you'll take forward into your summative assessment. We do try to provide as much feedback at that point as possible to support you. In addition, we may advise, or you may feel yourself, that you visit or get in touch with the Academic Skills Centre, who will offer you support with academic writing and the different conventions. So they are available to help you with your writing as well. Entry requirements, we do have the two routes, the workplace-based route and the non-workplace-based route. Of course, for the workplace-based, you would be expected to be currently working in a relevant setting and wanting to improve your professional learning and your career progression. For the non-workplace-based routes, then you need to have had experience, teaching experience. Doesn't necessarily need to be current. If you've been out of work 3 or 4 years, that's fine, as long as you do have experience to draw from. Both of these routes do require you to have an undergraduate degree in any discipline. And also, if your undergraduate degree was not taught in English, then we are looking for a minimum requirement of an IELTS 6.5 English language. We have feedback there from our students. As you can see, it is very positive. It's not just about the development of the students through the reading, but it's also about the support that they're being given from tutors and also the professional support services such as Academic Skills Centre. And it's about how we can encourage you and facilitate you to become that reflective practitioner. As I mentioned, it's not a short time ago that we do offer locally held workshops, and these are offered for the core modules. So we have the induction workshop if you come for your initial workshop, and then we have another workshop for the research aspects of the programme. These are held locally in the UAE, and they are a really good opportunity for you to come along and meet as tutors, but also more importantly is to network with other students on the programme. Some of those students will be starting out with you, they'll be in the same space as you, but also you'll have opportunity to meet other students who have been on the programme for a little while, so you'll be able to get some understanding about the study and the requirements for study from those who've experienced it. Feedback again is great. It does provide you with that confidence about moving forward, not just at master's level study skills, but also about moving forward through distance learning and using the technology to support you with that. And the tuition fees you can see on the screen there, and please do speak to the team at Stafford about payments. The application deadline is the 15th of October. So again, I'm going to invite Helen back, as she may want to say a little bit more on this section.
Thank you, Marie. That was absolutely fantastic. And yes, Marie is quite correct. We have the application deadline on the 15th of October for the next intake. And it is a very, very popular program. So we do encourage you to actually submit your applications as early as now. Okay, so I'm going to open up the portal for your questions. So please do start typing up those questions. So that we can actually answer them. Oh my good, there's a flurry of questions coming through. First question, will my degree state online distance learning, which is a very popular question.
It is, and no, it won't. There's no difference between a degree certificate for distance learner as there are for on-campus learners. They're exactly the same.
Okay, and right, is the program recognized around the world?
It is. It's a master's program, and as I said, we have students from around the world, and it's definitely recognized in their workplaces and beyond. So, absolutely.
Okay, and the next question is about duration. Can I complete the MEd in approximately 18 months?
I'm sorry, Helen, I kind of lost your connection there. Sorry.
Can I complete the program in 18 months?
We're talking, you usually say 20 months is about the time for completion if you're going to do the fast track route. I would put a thought out there for anybody considering this, is just really to take on board the requirements that are needed for undertaking study at fast track. It is taking quite a large number of hours per week for your study. It's almost like being a full-time student. So if you're working and you've got family, please do consider this.
Excellent. And the next question is, can I do the postgraduate certificate and then continue with the MEd after 12 months?
Okay. Yes, you have up to 5 years. So if you take the PG certificate and you exit at that point, then you have 5 years to return to us, and those credits for the certificate will still be valid.
Excellent. And now Sheen has a lovely question. I have over 17 years of IB experience, and can I get any credits?
The credits is for prior learning only, rather than experience. So if you have any previous study that's equivalent to the master's level study, or what we call level 11 studies, you would be able to get credit for that, but not based on experience.
Okay, and I will answer Noor's question with regards to the Middle East certifications. Noor, what we normally advise is to approach your own ministry in your own country. And to make sure that it is, a recognized qualification, and you need to obviously do that yourself. The university and Stafford, unfortunately, does not get involved in that. So please do contact your ministry. The reason we say that is that every single country and every single ministry do have their own rules and regulations. Okay, so we do encourage you to actually speak to your ministry. Okay, and Amber's question, can I start with the full-time route and then change to part-time?
You can. We do have that flexibility, but there's certain points in the programme where we enable that. If you was part the way through the first semester, a good way through, then we wouldn't transfer you over until the end of the semester, which is why I'm saying if it's something that you decide to do, then really do consider the implications of that with time management. But other than that, there are points, because we realise that things change throughout a year, 2 years, so we do offer that flexibility.
Absolutely. And this is a very popular question that we get. Can I apply on the basis of work experience?
I'm afraid not. As I mentioned, it is based on an undergraduate degree, and possibly an IELTS certificate or equivalent at 6.5. And if you are going to apply for any credit exemption, that is just solely for level 11 or master's level study.
Okay, and this is quite an ambitious question. Can I possibly study for 2 specializations?
It is a question that gets asked quite regularly as well. You wouldn't be able to obtain 2 named awards in different subjects. However, if you come in and you decide that you would like the look of 2 of our optional modules that are very different in content, then that's a possibility. So it depends what you mean by specialisation, but you do certainly have the options to fall back on and enjoy 2 very different types of study areas.
Okay, and how many courses do we take in the entire MEd program? So I'm thinking she's talking about modules.
If you come in with without any credit exemption, so you're starting from the beginning and you're working all the way through, you will take 2 modules in your first year if you go in the typical part-time route, 2 modules in the second year, and a double credit module in the final year. So altogether 5 modules, but you must remember the 5th module is a double credit module.
Okay, and Sally's question, she basically has 2 questions. Will I have support in my final thesis? And do I require to be working currently, and I'm assuming in an education environment?
No, you don't. Well, in fact, so let me just answer those in order. I was answering them backwards there, so I'll answer them in order. Yes, for your final thesis, you get a dissertation supervisor who will work very closely with you, particularly in the early days where there's lots of different things that you need to consider. And then we usually get quite a quiet period in the middle, and then the support's needed at the end again. So the support is definitely there. We try and match you up with tutors. We have a whole range of them with the relevant expertise for your dissertation. So we match those up as nicely as we can. Your second question, which I was going to answer first, and now I've forgotten what the question was. So.
Do I require to be working currently? And I'm assuming she's talking within an education environment.
Okay, so no, you don't. As long as you've had experience working in a teaching environment, then that's fine. You don't need to currently be working, or you could be working in a different sector but still have that experience from previous career choices.
Right. And Zanab's question is choosing the 2 modules, during the application stage. Can she choose both the leadership and the mathematics modules?
Yes, if you again, I would say come in on the typical pathway where you're looking for the 2 optional modules, then yes, you can do both of those.
Okay, and Laura's question is quite interesting. She has a PGCE from the UK. However, she achieved it in 2005. Does this mean I would have to do the PG cert, and that none of my prior learning credits will count towards this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why that is the case there. First of all, because of the date of the study being 2005, I don't want to remind you that that's quite a while ago, and things change. So we need any prior learning within the last 5 years. So anything that's older than that, we wouldn't offer any exemption for. Also with the UK, round about the time that you're talking about there, 2005, not all of the PG certs certificates were at level 11, some are at level 10. So again, that would have to be identified and whether it was 10 or 11 or 6 or 7 if you're south of the border in the UK.
Okay, and how many assignments will there be in my PG cert?
Okay, if you're doing the two modules for the PG cert, then there are 2 assignments. Each module just has 1 assignment only. There are no exams. It's 100% essay form. That could be a part of the report that's coming in there. It could be an evaluation, but it is in an essay format. So each 30 credit module, single credit, has a 5,000 word essay or assignment at the end. And the dissertation is 15,000 words, but that is for the double credit module.
Excellent. And Noor's question is, if I take the education and leadership route, what are the prospective benefits, and as you know, for my career as a teacher?
I'm assuming if you're looking towards education and leadership, then it may be that that's what you'll be aspiring to in the future, because you do need to be looking at your future career goals. But also with leadership, it's not just about being a formal leader. There are so many transferable skills within leadership that it will benefit all areas of your practice. And like with the other named awards, it's not just about how you benefit, but it's about those who you're working alongside benefit as well. And with those transferable skills, then I've no doubt that everybody will improve practice because of the thinking that's behind the leadership modules.
Right. And Sally is interested in the Developing Mathematical Thinking Award. And she just wants to know, how do you think it will help me as a mathematics teacher?
Well, with all of these, and it doesn't really matter which of the subject areas that we're looking at, they're all very similar. I mean, I can't go into the specifics of the module because I don't know all the module materials in them. But with them all, because you're looking at up-to-date information and we are providing you with the foundations to go and access that wider contemporary information, and also to facilitate your questioning and development on that, no matter which subject area you are going to develop as a teacher, it strengthens that your understanding and your practice, and through reflection and criticality, that's going to be enhanced significantly.
And Shanta is working as a librarian at the moment, so would her application be considered?
If we've got the prerequisites of an undergraduate degree, the English language, and you also you've had experience working as an educational practitioner, then yes, we would consider your application.
Excellent. And Naya Ren only wants to do the postgraduate certificate and exit at that point. Will she be invited to the graduation ceremony and get a certificate?
Yes, definitely. Doesn't matter which exit point, whether that's certificate, diploma, or the 4 masters. Everybody who completes that award will get invited to the graduation, and it would be great to see you over here.
Absolutely, it's a very important time in your life. So, and you've worked very hard for it. So definitely do go to the graduation. Zainab's question is, can I do an IB module and a leadership module at the same time?
You would be fast tracking, and if you're going for the IB and the leadership module together, yes, you can do them. I would advise perhaps one has slight lag time and the other when you're actually studying them, because the leadership module really does give you the underpinning theoretical knowledge, and also to question your practice from a leadership perspective. And then the IB module is asking you to reflect on that leadership theory and your practice in relation to the IB. So there you just need to stagger it slightly, as much as the end dates are the same if you was to fast track.
Yeah, and how long does it take to review my application if I'm asking for credits?
Doesn't take very long at all if we have the required information, and that really is, we need to see evidence of that certificate, the date of the certificate that have you achieved, the transcript, and also a confirmation of what level that was taken, because around the world different levels mean different things, so we need to make sure that it is at master's level. So once all that information is through, sometimes that can be the lengthier side of the process, then the rest of the process would go through very smoothly, and the actual looking at the qualification and the credit shouldn't be too long a process if the evidence is there.
Okay, and Laura has her friend Louise sitting with her at the moment. That's great. Welcome, both of you. Louise actually finished her qualification, a postgraduate certificate, in 2013. So would this be probably considered for credit exemption? Is this too late? Is it easier to perhaps try and assess this application and get entry?
I think I'd like to see, or like to have a little bit more detail about what the postgraduate certificate is and when it was achieved in 2013. I'm assuming then it'd be obtained around the July, August time, which in that case we wouldn't draw that line there. We would definitely have a look at it, and the likelihood is if it's at level 11, then you would obtain the credit.
Absolutely. So, Louise, we do encourage you to send as many documents as possible through to Stafford, to your consultant, and we'll be able to send the application through to the university for review. Okay, so do try and send all those documents as soon as possible. Okay, and Shaquille, I obtained my QTS in 2010 via graduate teaching program. Can the QTS be used towards credits?
The QTS itself can't be used. It's not at the level that we're required, and also the amount of work behind it. I know it was a lot of work at the time for you. I'm not underestimating that whatsoever, but it's not equivalent to master's level learning, and it needs to be.
Okay, and Zainab is saying, would the award name be listing the 2 modules we studied?
Not the award name. It will be on the transcript along with all the other modules, but no, they won't be listed in the award name.
Okay.
I think that's
yeah, I think that's exactly what she's asking. So would it actually be on the certificate per se? Okay, how many hours a day do I really have to study, and are there any webinars and extra tutorials that I need to attend?
Okay, if you're doing a 30 credit module, so you're taking one module part-time, then we're looking at approximately 15 hours per week of study. So that if you take it as a fast-track student, you're doubling that up. So you're looking at 60 hours per week of study for fast-track. Sorry, 30 hours. My maths is not so good at this time of day. So 30 hours of study per week for fast-track. For the webinars, we would encourage you to join them. They're not mandatory, but we would encourage you because, you know, it's an opportunity not just for you to engage with the tutor, but also to engage with your peers as well. And I do find that there's a lot of support in these webinars between students as well as from the tutors.
Excellent. And the final question for Nayarin, the leadership, learning, teaching and international teaching could be the 2 modules for my postgraduate certificates?
If you are wanting to take a postgraduate certificate in the generic award of leading, learning, teaching, international education could certainly be the option there. You would have to take the core module of reflecting upon practice as the first module, followed by the international education module. That would give you the potential to opt for the PG Cert in Leading Learning Teaching or PG Cert in international education. So again, there's a little bit more options available to you. Sometimes we have too many options, I think, can confuse things, but it's always good to be flexible.
Are there any textbooks that I would require to purchase for this program?
Many of the textbooks and indeed the journal articles and things are available electronically from the university library, and there's obviously a substantial range of publications available there. However, we do understand that some students would prefer to buy some of the books, particularly if it's one that's going to see them throughout their study, and often they come very well recommended from tutors who work with students and know that they work well for the students. There's no obligation for you to purchase any textbooks, but we do understand that sometimes it's a preference of students.
Absolutely. And Zainab, with regards to the fees, please do get in touch with us at Stafford. We'll be able to advise you on the very flexible payment plan that we do have. So do get in touch with your academic consultant and we'll be able to give you all that information. And can we start the program during the coming September? Let's see that.
The program is due to start in November.
Okay, I don't know why they want to start in September, but okay, that's quite early, that's fine. Will the assessments of the program be graded as A, B, C, or how does the grading system work?
Yes, the grading system, you will be graded. So hopefully we'll hope that you will get grade A's, but there's various ranges within each of the grades. So if you're looking for a pass mark, which we hope that you are, that will be graded from A to D. Anything below a D will then be offered a resit or a resubmission of that assignment, and hopefully that, with the feedback and the support from the tutor, hopefully that will mean that you do pass the program or the module. So the support will be there, but it is an A to D is a pass mark.
Excellent. Okay, so Marie, there are no more questions. I think we've managed to answer all of them.
Some great questions.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of similar questions, so I kind of grouped them together. So that's fantastic. So it was great seeing you again. Thank you everyone for joining us. This particular webinar has also been recorded, so your academic consultant at Stafford will be able to provide you with a link to this. So you're very welcome to go back to it and listen to all the answers. And again, it was lovely having you, Marie. Thank you so much. Please get in touch with us. Let us get your applications in as soon as possible to the university and get that unconditional offer for you. Okay. Good evening to everyone. Bye, Marie.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.